All right, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm going to predict who I think will win the Stanley Cup and how many games it'll take each team to advance. All right, starting from the top left, we have the Colorado Avalanche versus the Seattle Kraken. Um, the Seattle Kraken, I'm surprised have got there in the second year after drafting fourth overall, but it's really remarkable what they're doing right now. But I don't think they have a chance against Colorado, the Stanley Cup champions. I'll just be honest here. I don't think they have a chance, so I'm going to take Colorado in 5 games. All right, next up we have the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to vote for Minnesota winning in 6 or 7 games. I just think the defense is a lot better in Minnesota's side than Dallas, and I think that's what's going to win them the game. And I think they might have better goaltending with Fleury and Gustafsson. All right, next up we have the Vegas Golden Knights versus Winnipeg Jets here. I think it will be a close game, but I do think the Vegas Golden Knights will be able to win this if they get Mark Stahl and they get Jack Eichel and all of them back. If they do not have them available for them, I think this is an easy win for the Winnipeg Jets. I just like the offense for Winnipeg a lot better than I do for Vegas right now. But my gut says they're going to come back, so I have Vegas winning in 6 games. All right, next up we have the Edmonton Oilers versus the LA Kings. I don't think there's any way I can vote against McJesus and Draisaitl. I don't think there's any way, so I'm gonna say the Oilers win in 7 games. I do really like LA's team as the fact that they win those 2-1 games. They win those games all the time. They have decent goaltending. They have really good defense, but I don't think there's any way they can beat McDavid and Draisaitl in a 7-game series. So I'm gonna say it goes to Winnipeg or it goes to Edmonton. All right, next up we have Boston versus the New York Islanders. For the Islanders to have any chance at all, they need Barzell. If they don't have Barzell, I think this is gonna be a sweep, 4 games. I hate to do that to Horvat, but I think Boston wins in 4 or 5 games. Depends on if they have Barzell or not. If they don't have Barzell, 4 games. All right, here is the series that everyone's been waiting for. Tampa versus the Toronto Maple Leafs here. Now, my gut says to go for the Lightning because Toronto hasn't made it out of the playoffs in since 2004. But I'm going to stick with my gut and say the Tampa Bay Lightning win in 6 games here against the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, Carolina and Florida. I think this is an easy series to dictate. I think Carolina wins this 5, 6 games maybe. Carolina's defense is just insane. Their goaltending is the only thing that is worrisome, but also Florida doesn't have any goaltending either. So I think Carolina will be able to win this in 5 games. All right, now my least favorite matchup here. We got the New Jersey Devils versus the New York Rangers. I really hope they don't play each other because I like both these teams and I want them to go far. But in a 7 game series, I'm going to give it to the Rangers. Shesterkin is a lot better than New Jersey's goaltending, and I just like New York Rangers top 6. I think that's the best top 6 I've seen since I've been born. So I'm going to say the Rangers here in 7 games. Also, the Rangers are able to stay alive in every game 7, all the scenarios you saw against Pittsburgh and you saw against Carolina. They were able last year. They were able to stay alive. So I'm going to say the Rangers win in 6 or 7 games against the New Jersey Devils. All right, next up I have Colorado versus Minnesota. I think this is going to be an excellent series to watch, and I would recommend watching it. You're going to have great hits, great fights, great goals, all that with McKinnon, McCarr, but I do think the Colorado is going to inch this one out in Game 6. All right, next up I have Vegas and the Oilers. I do think this is going to be a great series, but like I said again, I can't see Vegas's top 6 being better than McDavid and Draisaitl. So I'm going to give this to the Oilers. I do think that the defense is a bit better on Vegas's side, but I'm going to give this series to the Oilers. All right, next up, Boston and Tampa Bay. I'm just going to give it to Boston here. There's not much more you can say. They beat the amount of wins. They beat the amount of points that you can have in a regular season, and they play well in the playoffs. There's nothing better that you can have in a team. I'm going to say Boston wins this in 5 games against Tampa Bay. All right, next I have Carolina versus the New York Rangers. If you look at last year, this is the exact same matchup, and the Rangers won. And the Rangers got better this year than they were last year. I mean, they have a better top six, better defense, better goaltending, I would say. So I'm gonna give this series to the New York Rangers in 6 games. I do like the moves that Carolina made this year, and I really do, but it's hard to vote against the New York Rangers when they have that top six. So I'm gonna say the Rangers in 6 games. All right, next up I have the Western Conference Final. I have Colorado versus the Oilers here. Um, I know that Colorado swept the Oilers last year, but I think Colorado will win this in 6 games. I'm gonna give it to them in 6 games unless they have a really bad injury. If Makar or McKenna gets injured, this is going completely to the Oilers. But if none of them go injured or get injured, it's gonna go to Colorado. All right, next up I have in the Eastern Conference Final, I have Boston versus the New York Rangers, number 1 seed versus the number 3 seed here. I don't know which way to sway here. I like the Rangers. I like Boston. I think this is going to go to game 7 here. It's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be a great series, and I would definitely recommend watching this one. But I'm going to give it to Boston. I know that's going to hurt me inside as a Canucks fan, but I'm going to give it to Boston in game 6 or game 7. They're going to advance to the Stanley Cup. All right, my final is going to consist of Colorado versus the Boston Bruins here. Um, I don't think Colorado's going to beat Boston. I'm just going to be honest here. The East is way better than the West. I'm going to give it to Boston in probably 5 games. I think it's going to be game 5. Boston wins it all. And that is my preview of the Stanley Cup playoffs and my predictions. Feel free to argue with me. Feel free to say how I'm wrong in each scenario. Just comment down below what you think of my opinions and if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you.
Like and subscribe.